Hello everyone, hope you're all doing great. So I'm Saranya, and in this video we'll be talking about what is a database, how to create that, what is a table and how to create a table. So all of these topics we're going to discuss in this video. I'll share my screen quickly and yes. So this is what we are going to create by the end of this video. Okay, so student ID, name, age, gender, email, what's his GPA, what's his joining date, and if he's a hostel resident or not. So we are going to create all of this inside the student database, and the table name will be student underscore details. Okay, so let's talk, get a clear intuition about what's a database, what is a server, what is a table, right? So imagine a gated community where you have A block, B block, C block, and D block. In each block, you have flats like 101, 102, 103 in first floor, 201, 202, 203 in second floor, like that. So in all the blocks, you have different apartments. So this is the concept of SQL. Very simple. So the entire apartments, all the apartments are called your tables. The blocks A, B, C, D are called your databases. All these blocks, they stay inside a community, right? That community is your SQL server, which means inside the SQL server, you will have multiple databases. Inside the database, you will have multiple tables. All of them are related. Let's take an example of a school. Okay, so in the school, you have one database for all the students, one database for all the teachers, one database for all the IT, one database for all the admin. So like that. And if you take in my company, we have one database for all the sales that is happening, one for all the marketing, one for all the HR team, one for the employees. So like that, we have different databases created. So this is the concept of database. All right. So now we are going to create the table. Let me share my screen. Okay, if you see here, the student underscore DB is the database name. Student underscore details is the table name. Okay, so this is the database and this is the table name. Okay, now these are the columns. Okay, if I refer columns or fields, both means I'm talking about the columns, student ID, student name, age, gender, these columns I'm talking about. If I tell you rows or records, both means I'm talking about these rows, this entire row, row 1, row 2, row 3, 4, 5, like that. Okay, so these are rows and columns. Now let us create this in the MySQL workbench. So open MySQL workbench and this is the page that you will see. And in the left side here, you see administration, right? Beside that, you have something called as the schemas. So click on schemas and right now you will only have SYS. Okay, if you're starting with MySQL Workbench, you will only see SYS here. So now what we will do here, we have to create a database. And before that, one thing, if you give double hyphen and then give space, anything after that will be considered as a comment. Okay, so use these comments to help your code readability. So whenever you are trying to do something new, just put a comment on top of that so that you will know what this particular syntax or the query is doing. Okay, what if I don't give a space here? It will consider everything is a single line of query and it will not recognize. So double hyphen and then definitely give a space. Okay, so now what I'll do, I'll create a database. So creating my student underscore DB database. Okay, this name of the database is student underscore DB. You can give any name to your database. So right now my database name is student underscore DB, but make sure it doesn't start with numbers or underscores. Okay, it should always have letters, and after that you can have 1, 2, 3, 4 and all, but don't start with a number. Okay, so the code for creating a database is create database and database name. The database name is student underscore DB. And after you finish writing your query, it's a good practice to have a semicolon. Okay, so create database name. And how to run this code, you have to select the entire code and then click on this thunder button which you see here. Okay, so run this. Now, once you see the action output, here, you are seeing a green color tick mark that says the code has run successfully, and this is the action, this is the message, and this is the time taken to run that code. Okay, so now every time you're running something, please check your action output, like all the time, just check what is happening. Okay, so this is done. What if I rerun this code again? It will tell me can't create database student underscore db database exists. So this code is always, I mean, the error message is always self-explainable. Okay, so it's telling that you can't create a database student underscore db because the database already exists. Okay, so make sure you read this. Now after running this part, on the left side, if you see in schemas, you only have sys. There's a small refresh icon. If you click on this icon, now you will see your student underscore database is created. Okay, so if you expand this database, you see tables, views, stored procedures, and functions. But in the tables, right now you have no tables created, so it will not be working. Next, so now you created the database student underscore db, right? And let's say if you have another database also, like teacher underscore db, admin underscore db, and all of that. And then if you're trying to create a table, your SQL should know in which database it should create the table, right? For that case, you will do use student underscore db. Okay, so now run this particular line. If you see here, student underscore db is in normal letters. Once you run this, student underscore db becomes bold. It means right now you are inside the student underscore db. Okay, if you see this is executed successfully, 0 rows affected. Okay, so now next what we will do, we will create the table here. Now, if the table will be created inside the student underscore db. So for creating the table, the code is same as database, create table, and the table name is student underscore details, open bracket, close bracket, semicolon. Okay, so this is the outer structure of the table. So now when you're creating database, mention the word database. While creating table, mention the word table. Here, why didn't we mention database? Because this particular code is not applicable for a table. Okay, so you don't have use table, this one. So nothing like that is there. So only use, after use, we are not putting any keyword like database or table. Okay, so now inside this table, we have to put what columns that we need to create here. So what columns do we have inside this? If you go to your Excel, you have student underscore ID, student underscore name, and age, gender, email, GPA, joined it, hostel, resident or not. These columns we have to create. So let me copy all of this here. Okay, so that we can refer from here only. Let's put it as a comment. Okay, so now first thing is your student underscore ID. So I'll take student underscore ID, and now student underscore ID should have a data type. Every time you're creating a table, you will write the table name, you will give the first column, and after the column name, give the data type. So since student ID is an integer, I will give the data type as int. Okay, I'll put a comma, and next, what is the second column name that I have to create? Student underscore name. Okay, then I'll put student underscore name. This is a varchar 256. Okay, now what is varchar? What is 256? Okay, so if there are columns where you don't know how many characters that can contain, in those particular columns, you have to put varchar. Okay, so let's say student name is different for each and every student. So Rahul can have 5 letters and Akshaya can have more than 5 letters. So that particular name column is not fixed length. In those cases, you have to use varchar. And this is 256. 256 is saying that this is the max a varchar can hold. Means 256 characters it can hold. So you are giving all the 256 characters here. It will have like 512 and all. But right now 256 is the max that it will hold. Okay. Then you have age. Just put the age column. So in this table, I'm not complicating. We'll have 19, 20, 18, all the integer numbers. We are not using any decimal numbers. So age will be integer again. Okay. And then you have gender. So this is one important column. If you see in gender column, you have M and F, which means only one character is there. In that case, what you will do, you know how many characters will be there in that particular column. Then you will use char and you will open the bracket, give 1. That means gender is character data type and it will have maximum of 1 character. Okay. Next one, email. So email, obviously you can't tell one person's email is like this is how many characters our email can contain, right? It will have many characters. In that case, email also will be varchar, and I am telling maximum 256 characters you can allow. Okay, and then GPA. Okay, this is one important thing. For GPA, I am using decimal type because GPA is in decimal. And in decimal, you always have to mention 2 numbers. Okay, so first number will tell me how many numbers are allowed. Okay, so let's say 97.1. How many numbers are there in it? 9 is one number, 7 is one number, 1 is one number. So totally 3 numbers are allowed. So 3 numbers I have written. And it is telling me after the decimal, only one number is allowed. Okay, so after the decimal, you can't put 1, 2. Okay, or you can't put 1, 3, 3 like this. You can't put like that. It is telling after the decimal, restrict to only one number. So after decimal, only 1 point it will have. Okay, so let's say what is the maximum GPA you can have? 100. Because after point, I mean, if you put 100, all the 3 numbers are over. 1 number, 2 number, 3 numbers. So 3 numbers are over, right? So you can't have more than that. That's the reason we are putting it as 3, 1. 3 will tell me how many numbers it should have. This next 1 will tell me after the dot how many numbers you can have. Okay. So this is one thing. Put a comma. Then last one is joining underscore date. So for joining underscore date, we will have date data type. Okay. Then for hostel underscore resident, which is a boolean. Boolean means what? It will have only true or false. If he is a hostel resident, it is true. If he is not a hostel resident, it will be false. So these are the data types that we have in SQL. I mean, these are the most commonly used data types. Okay. So student ID is integer because it doesn't have any floating point or any decimal numbers. Student name is varchar because it can have any number of characters below 256. And the reason we are giving 256 is because this is the limit that we are setting. Okay, after above 256, please don't have any student names like that. Okay, and age is an integer. Gender has character 1 because it is of fixed length. Email is a varchar. It has 256 characters. And GPA is decimal. 3 tells me how many numbers I can have. And this number 1 tells me after decimal how many numbers I can have. Okay, so joining date is a date format. So date formats basically are in YYYY, DD formats. Okay. And then hostel resident is a boolean. So once all of this is done, select the entire code and click on run. Okay, so if you see, this is done now. Okay, so in the student database in the left side, give a refresh button. And in the tables, you can see student underscore details. The student underscore is created inside the student underscore DB database and it is present now. And here you click on this drop down, you will see columns. Click on the drop down, you will see student ID, name, age, gender, email, all of that. So now at any point of time, if you want to see what you have created, if you forgot what you have created, you can always see DESC, which means describe student underscore details. Okay, so if you run the student underscore details, it will tell you what you have created. So I've created student ID with, I've created student ID, type is integer, name, varchar, age, integer, gender, character. So it will tell me what all data types you have used while creating this particular table. Okay, so now you have one first SQL query, let's say. Okay, so select star from student details. Okay, so select star from student underscore details. What does this will give you? You're telling select star means select everything from student underscore details table. Run this. So you will see student ID, name, age, gender, email, GPA, and all of these columns you will see. So which means we have successfully created all these columns. Let me show you. Okay, so we have created all these columns. Now the next video, we will be adding all the rows. Okay, so this process is called inserting the rows. So right now we have created a table and columns. Now we are going to insert some rows in the table that we'll see in the next video. And before that, I'm also giving you a homework problem in the description section. So please go through that and try to solve it on your own. And once it is done, you can paste the solution in the comment section so that I can review that as well. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe so that I'll be posting every day. I'll be posting one new video, and yeah, you can watch those and try to figure it out on your own. So in the next video, I'll be giving you one interview question that is most asked, and we'll be discussing on how to insert the records and all. So please stay tuned. Thank you.